interesting, and I just want to put it into perspective because it's put it sort of into perspective for me. Yesterday, I knew I was coming here to talk to all you people and how many people I'm going to be looking at, and my stomach went into my throat. And this morning at 2 o'clock, my dog barked, and I went down and said, look, come on, this is not, I need sleep, I need a big day tomorrow. 4 o'clock, he did the same, and I said, oh my God, I'm not going to have any sleep. On the way here, my stomach is in my throat, I'm now shaking, I am feeling absolutely scared to death. But it's really interesting that one of my tenants who I visit weekly says that she goes through that every single week when I'm going to see her. Every single week she tells me her heart is in her throat because I'm coming. And that's not because I'm coming because she knows I'm housing. And as you all know, if you deal with tenants, which you probably don't because a lot of your adult social care, but you do deal with our tenants, we're going to evict everybody, we're going to throw them out for anything and everything. But that's not the case. It's far, far from the case. I've sort of put in here, because as I'm saying, I'm coming from housing, but not housing in rehousing people. We are landlord. So I've sort of done it from our perspective, what we're doing here on the ground. We've got quite a new team, started in April, so some of the stats in here are literally from April this year, taking on cases that have been long-standing in our organisation. So I am Leslie Curtis, Engagement and Enforcement Officer in the EET team for Poole Housing Partnership. We were put together really sort of looking at all of our practices and how our cases, antisocial behaviour cases, property, condition, hoarding, all of those things sit, and looking at how we move forward on cases that we're not getting anywhere with. So as you can see, it's really, we're looking at, there's 2 of us, we sit under my manager who is a solicitor, and we deal with the more serious ASB nuisance cases, hoarding, property condition, because they're quite often in with ASB. Sometimes they are causing problems around the neighbourhood, from a perspective that they might have all sorts of things going on for the neighbours, smells, all sorts of stuff. But they could also be the recipient of antisocial behaviour being perpetrated against them. You know, you're looking at a property that doesn't look particularly nice, it looks dirty old nets. Used in the area tend to target those properties. So we look at it from lots of different angles. We have a maximum of 30 cases across 2 officers, depending on what our caseload is, and obviously managed by our manager. High priority cases that have gone through housing officers are coming over to us when their case is assessed. Frequent incidents, significant risk of harm to either party, things that impact our housing management function. We're looking at risks of mental health, all of these things, no real engagement with us, no real engagement with support or agencies, because we look at everything around us. Our aims, what do us as a team aim to get out of being this team and working these cases? Intensive intervention, de-escalate situations that maybe we haven't managed to on a lower level, get people to engage with us as a housing provider, and we also want people to engage with support. We've got a very new support service that certainly from us leading on the hoarding, I'm using support work the service more and more in our hoarding cases, because originally when we started looking at how we deal with hoarders, it was very much me going in as support and an enforcement officer at the same time, which, as you probably all know, really doesn't work. You know, how can I be there going, oh, this is very nice, and then saying, do you know what, actually, might have to be looking at a little bit more legal interventions maybe, or some more enforcement work. We look at sustaining tenancy. We're not about getting people out. How can you move somebody who's got an issue and is really needing intense support from a multi-agency team? How can you move them on? Because they're probably going to be hard to house. So it really is about dealing with the problem and trying to work with them. Move to more suitable accommodation. Some people are just not able to stay in the accommodation they're in for one reason or another, and obviously take prompt and effective legal action. These are just some of the pictures of some of the homes that I've worked in. I have to say I love them all. If anybody out there, the people that know me out there say that I'm weird, but I actually have a passion for this stuff. I don't like ruining shoes, but I have ruined a few. Just a bit of background about us, really, because I think it's quite relevant to make you aware of, who we are, what we are. Poole as a Partnership is an arm's length management organisation. We manage the Poole Borough Council housing stock. It consists of 4,481 properties, 3,221 general needs, 567 leasehold, and 1,260 sheltered and extra care. Why have I done that down? Because I wanted to show you what we've got in our stock that we know as holders. What our main drivers as a housing, as landlords, and the other landlords and housing providers out there will say, is it's about maintaining tenancies. We want to maintain those people. We want to make sure that they keep their homes. That's our main driver. If we haven't got our tenants, who are we going to put in our houses? And our asset, the houses themselves, we have to look after those. So we come at it from a very different remit from social care and some of the other agencies that are putting in. So there's your proportioned all down nicely. Look, that's a lovely pie chart. I love it. It's blue. It's my favourite colour. Hence it's not only PHP, but it's quite happy for me. Percentage of known hoarders. That's across our stock. Very large, isn't it? No, it's not. It's the little tiny blue section. That's our known hoarders, because there's more out there that we don't know about them. And do you know what? I can't wait to find them. Can't wait to find them, because they're probably living in some areas that we just haven't got to yet. So the figures for us sounds really quite small. It's in sheltered housing, we have 7 hoarders that are known. General needs, we had 29 hoarders that are known across that really large section that we just showed you. I had a look, I tried to draw on lots of different things about estimated costs. Now this is about 2 years ago we had a case that was long-standing for about 3 years, and we guesstimated, I have to say, so I'm not giving you exact figures, we guesstimated the cost that we put into that case, and we knew that it was in excess of £25,000. It was one that was sort of hitting the threshold of going to court of protection. It was in a tower block, 1-bedroom flat, completely hoarded with contaminated waste. We took 7 tonnes out of that property. It took 3 years for us to get her to move. And also we put her into sheltered housing. And she's doing really well, I have to say, doing really well at this present time. So taking that, the 25,000 that we sort of know of, and then I looked at Bournemouth, did a study, sorry Bournemouth, I stole your figures, around what they were estimating cost to services. It's a multi-agency, and they were saying about 35,000 per case. But when you look at the long-standing time that we put into these cases and the multi-agency going in, fire service, adult social care, and environmental health, housing, you've got all these different things. That's a lot of money. So this means the current cost on the figures that we have known on our known holders and partner agencies could potentially exceed £1.25 million just on the cases that I have sitting on our caseload. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of dosh. So who pays for it? Your tab or mine? Has the tenant got the money for to pay for this to be cleared, for the input that is needed. Adult social care, I don't think you've got any budgets. I know housing. I work with this clientele, and I've got about 11 out of my 15 cases at the moment that I work with intensively on a week-to-week basis, going in. And I have no budget. I'm penniless. We are all penniless. We have no budget set aside for these things. Why is it an issue? It increases the risk of fire. It impedes fire and rescue, and they've talked to you about that themselves. Compromises the health and safety of others, particularly in blocks of flats where fire infestations can spread. It impacts on the tenants' health and well-being, risk of harm to others. From our housing stock, it increases the likelihood of structural damage to the properties, unreported repairs, non-access. It devalues our assets. If it devalues our assets, that eventually does affect our business because we can't borrow money against an asset to be able to build. So it's about sustaining communities as well. These are some of the reasons why housing is driven by the things that we're driven by. And I think it's also the clearances, repairs to avoid property incurs significant costs. If we're looking at stuff like that, and you can really see other agencies that say, you know what, actually you're all about your house. You're all about your house, you know, your assets. But we're not. It's about actually sustaining a tenancy and keeping in good repair our asset so that business can go forward, so that we can house communities, so that we can work with those people. It's not about getting people out, moving on. We're very limited in the tools that we have. We've looked at Rental Capacity Acts, all of those things. What tools do we have here on the ground, actually as practitioners, going into people's homes and saying, can we help you? Are we able to help you? Not always. Meetings, case conferences, we tend to try and pull those together quite early when we identify somebody, because it's actually really, really important from my point of view. I'm just me, or I was just me, I'm not anymore. I've got support workers, but it's about getting into people's homes, building that relationship, and sometimes I can't be the person that person builds a relationship with. So it is really using that person who can build a relationship, who the tenant really does have a connection with, because if you haven't got that connection, you're not through the door. Verbal warnings, written warnings, action plans, contract of expectations. These are all things that I'm talking to somebody who hasn't probably had anybody in their home for a long, long time, forever. So what is going to make them do those things? It really is about, for me, in a case, it's progress might be just getting them to smile at me, to accept me walking in the door. Progress might be that they've actually thrown one newspaper away, but it's about acknowledging every single piece of progress and not looking elsewhere for it. And do you know what? It's not asking what I want is progress as well. It's about accepting the smaller things. I sort of put this together because perseverance equals success, and it has for us equaled massive success. So from our point of view, we've got like build the relationship, build our trust with our service user. Show them that actually we're not going in to evict you, but we are here to help you. The problem that we have is from the safeguarding point of view, from adult social care, it's all very personal centred. And I agree, we try to be personal centred, but we are also governed by this other little thing called a house, and sustain a tenancy. Our tenants, when they move into a property, they sign a tenancy agreement. In that tenancy agreement, it states openly, you need to keep your house tidy and in good repair. That's what it is. So a tenancy agreement for me is my Bible. I love that thing. I love it because I'm an engagement and enforcement officer. Every time I look at a tenancy agreement, what do I look at? I look at what is this person breaching in this contract? Because that's what it is. It's a contract. What are they breaching? I'm not looking at it saying, what are they breaching? How can I get this person out and get somebody else in? I'm looking at it to say, hang on, they're breaching. Can I resolve this issue without getting too far down the line, costing me money, time, and potentially giving this person a lot of trouble? So, when we're going into properties that people are hoarding, I found from the very onset, because this is all me learning over the last 2 years on the ground and putting stuff into place, you need to be honest and upfront. I have to go in and say, do you know what, this is my role, this is what I'm going to do. I am potentially here to enforce action around your tenancy agreement, but I'm here to help you, and I want to put something or try and put some support in place to help you to comply with your tenancy agreement. Non-judgmental. What do we mean by non-judgmental? Do you know what? I've actually watched somebody be thrown out of somebody's house for pulling their nose up at a smell. I can't stress that enough, that actually some people have not got the bag for going into some of these homes, because unless you've been in some of these homes, I'm sure you have all been in some pretty grotty homes. I've been in homes where I crawled round a door. I'm a size 8. I went through the door, I climbed up onto the mound, I stood on 3 televisions whilst the tenant literally batted flies around my head. They were like velociraptors trying to get me. He batted them away. Do you know, I just stood there. Oh, you're all right? How's today? Because what do? How am I going to get in the door the next time? The smells, the everything. It's one little sneery look, something, because you're like, oh, I can't cope with this. It really is judgment in their eyes, because that's why they don't let people in. That's what I found. Once I've built that trust, what do we do? Planning goals, picture their aspirations. I've got one lady whose 3-bedroom house completely hoarded to capacity. 4.5 months I've been going in. Last week, she actually cleared a passageway so that we can get her boiler fixed. She's freezing cold. She's 72 years old. But we're there. We've got a passageway so we can get a boiler fixed. We're nowhere near clearing a property. Remain objective. Remain objective. Is that me or her? Do you know what? It's both of us, because actually we need to make plans around what the objective is. And sometimes the objective is just clearing a shelf. No assumptions. My assumptions are very different to my tenants that I'm working with. I'm assuming they're going to do as they're told. The majority of the time they're assuming that I'm going to go away. Both of us are wrong. Be aware of emotions. Do you know what? I think the biggest thing for all of us as practitioners is be aware of your own emotions. How many times have I cried? Loads. How many times have my tenants cried? Loads. How many times have I been shouted at? Loads. Sworn at, called names. Love it. Bring it on. Broad shoulders. Get bigger. Because actually you just got to suck it up. Because actually the minute you let that in, you've lost, because it's another deflection tactic. It's a deflection tactic to say everybody in our lives, or the majority of people in our lives, will go away if I do that. Well, actually, just keep trudging away. It works eventually. What else? You know, and reward, praise, build that confidence, because actually the majority of the people that I've worked with, and a fair few now, don't have confidence. They don't have confidence in themselves, let alone anybody else. And they don't have confidence to believe that that's really what we're here to do, is to support them. So, right from the onset, define roles and expectations. This is what we've been doing. We've built a process around this and really sort of trying to look at good practice that fits under the new guideline, the new guidance around hoarding. And we believe that we're really in a position that our good practice is up there in the front with the runners, you know. First time ever, because I couldn't run to save your life. But be honest. Everyone says, oh yeah, you're going to throw me out. Well, do you know what? Actually, I might do. And I have to be honest from the onset. And I have to be honest with agencies. Yes, you want to safeguard this person, and gosh, you know, that's what we all want. But I have to be honest. If all else is failing, from a tenancy breach point of view, legal action may be on the offer. Because that's the only tools that are available to us. If we have gone through a process, that we have a process, that we have a chart, a flow chart and a procedure that we follow. Because actually, even taking somebody to court who has multiple issues is not easy. It's not, you can't just get up one day and say, do you know what, I've had enough of working them, I've taken them to court. I've got a process that we have to go through, and it's not us that are going to evict somebody or move them from that property, it's a court. Somebody else that makes those decisions, and we have to provide evidence that we have done absolutely everything. And believe me, this is my baby. Hoarding is my baby in PHP. This team leads. I'm putting my name to that, saying, do you know what, this is mine, really, and I want to make sure that if I have to take somebody to court to move them from the premises for any reason, or injunct them to ensure that they do what I'm asking them to do to comply with their tenancy, that I've done everything in my power, and that fits in my book. So, being honest, provide appropriate information. Tell them exactly what they're going to do. Look outside of those boxes. Look outside and find where, you know, I had one guy who, he was a bag hoarder, strangely enough, or one of his things that he did, he hoarded bags, and he could not throw his rubbish away because that meant putting it in a carrier bag. So, bearing in mind we're in a time of that we now have to pay for our carrier bags. Well, 5 pence for a carrier bag when you're on benefits is a lot of money. So I went to Macro, I bought 100 for £1.79. Do you know what? Cheapest option. Every day off he went with his rubbish. Brilliant, because that is £1.79. It's either that or clearance that he's really not going to cope with. But he did it. So it's about looking outside of yourself as well and say, do you know what? Sometimes the easiest thing is a really, really small thing. Don't use the threat of eviction as a negotiation tool. God, did I find that one out early? Anyway, I'm being told. So, have a look at those. Just 18 women, 12 men, singles, 3 couples, no children living at home. 1 lot of sisters, and 1 family consisting of mum, daughter and granddaughter. Questionable hoarder. They were 2 families living in 1 house. What do you expect? A lot. These are just, so there's no sort of rhyme or reason to them. Legal interventions we do have, extension of introductory tenancies if they're on them, injunctions, possession, those are the only ones that we have. What do? We've got a procedure, I know they're going to send you out flow charts. Consistency, continuity, that's the word. Through staff, change of staff is a massive thing. You can try and keep them going. These are just single male, suspended possession order I got on this gentleman, and that was agreed. He wanted that. We went from very complex hoard. So this is how he's living now. Sheltered housing. 9 months it took him to get to that. 9 months, which was pretty. This one, couple, who before and after pictures. And this is just sort of results so far. 12 out of 49 EET cases, which is 25%, hoarding property condition, none evicted, 1 suspended possession order. 2 were rehoused, smaller but more suitable accommodation. 2 resolved with verbal written warnings with no further support. Some of these have been taken over after quite a few years. 3 engaging in making good progress with support. 3 properties returned to satisfactory condition and being monitored. 50% either engaged and returned property to satisfactory condition. Only 1 not engaging. But I think, from my point of view, housing, none evicted. None. Because that's not what we do. But we do have a brilliant support service now for our tenants at the moment, but hopefully in later. That's what we're doing here in housing, and I think quite a lot of other landlords are doing the same. So, when you're thinking, let's not go to housing, or a multi-agency team approach is massive to us, massive. Because we need everybody's input, because we all have such different remits, and it covers all the grey areas that we're not able to colour in, really. Thank you.